This is Buddy. There's another dog that lives here. We didn't work with him really at all, but he did get a bully stick, so you lucked out. At least most of the bully stick. Buddy here is a very fearful dog. Now, he has a problem with males. I think that the male guardian in this house, tried to do a lot of great things for him. But there are some differences between dog psychology and human psychology. For example, anything that a dog is doing when I pet it is what I'm reinforcing. This is the first time I petted him. I've been here almost 3 hours. If I pet him when he's nervous or anxious, I'm going to amplify that. Now, dogs, as puppies, they can't regulate their body heat, so they do associate touch with affection. If my dog is uncomfortable, I can put my hand on him like this and let him know I'm here with you without reinforcing. So I think because of, and this has been 5 years, and the guardian's done a lot of this, and again, with the best of intentions, but I think each time he's done it, I think it's created a little bit of an association. His heart is pretty good right now. It's not overly, it's beating very relaxed. So is his mouth open or is it closed? Okay.
Closed.
So, I mean, he's probably would prefer not to be on my lap, but I was able to go and pick him up, and I took it slow and gave him a lot of reinforcers. Let's see if I can get him to take a treat from my hand on camera. Such a good-looking dog. Yes. Oh, I know you want to go away right away, but we're going to have you linger a little bit. All right, so this is his roadmap to success. This is, like I said, a dog psychology session, so this is a lot different than my typical sessions. It's not about rules and structure. This is really about just helping him come out of being in that fearful place. He's really just shut down, and he just camped out in the corner because he doesn't know how to deal with it and process with things. So the videos, I have a lot of videos about. Normally I just do one, so we'll probably have like 7 or 8. But these follow the instructions and the things that I outline in them. Now, one of the things that I ask the guardian is, well, what rules or commands, or not rules, but what commands does he know? And tricks. And really all he knows is sit. That's not a very great plethora of things, obviously. And just like humans, dogs have a sense of pride. They feel better about themselves when they have accomplished something. So I would like the female guardian in the house to set a goal of trying to teach him a new trick or command each week for the next 8 weeks. Now, I'm guessing he probably is going to shut down, and it might take you longer to teach him the first couple weeks. So if the first couple times or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's okay. I'd like to have him have at least 8 new commands or tricks. They don't always have to be tricks. And you see he's starting to lean away from me. He's trying to lean towards where he wants to go. So the more skill sets that we can provide for him, the better, more self-esteem he's going to have, a boost he's going to get, the more confident he will have. And it's hard for him to feel very confident if he doesn't really have any skills. Now, one of the things I didn't talk about during the session, but one of the easiest ways to train your dog is something I call passive training. So if every time he lays down, we go over, now not for you guys, but for the female, we go over and pet or reward and give him a treat, and we say the word, here we go, I'm trying to get you to lean this way, buddy. And we say whatever the command word is. So if a dog sits, I'm going to pet it and say the word sit. If it lays down, I'm going to pet it and say crash, which is the word I like to use. Every time the dog comes to me, I pet him and say here. Now, there's a book called T-Touch. It's a Tellington touch. There's a way you can touch your dog and give it little massages that actually activates muscle groups. Might be a book you guys might want to look into. One of the places you can pet a dog is in slow circles on their chest, and it helps them feel a little calmer. Now, again, we don't want to pet him when he's nervous or anxious, but if we can get him used to just this can be a nice calming, soothing thing for him. You see he's looking at the guardian who's sitting right here and looking away rather than just staring at him the whole time. Now, we went through some calming signals in one of the videos above. Turning your head to the side with a long yawn is a calming signal. Holding up your hand like this is a calming signal. Scratching the ground and then sniffing it can be a calming signal. I was hoping to get a look from him, and he's not having it. There we go. So if you are interacting with him and he seems stiff, if you turn to whenever he seems stiff, try to always keep your profile towards him. Front facing is confrontational. And we definitely don't want to reach over him or lean over him. Those are big things that are going to cause him to feel insecure. He's relaxing a little bit more. Oh, now you just put your foot back down. Calming signals, like we talked about in the video we just shot over there where the guardian was approaching him to take the leash off, can be ways to help him feel a little bit more secure. I would like the male guardian, to start grabbing some food and just, a small, about that amount, put it in between his hands and rub it back and forth a couple times, then put it in a Ziploc bag and proportion it out. And we're going to put that, and now when we're feeding, the male guardians are going to be away. The female guardian only is going to be the one petting it or feeding him. We're going to put food in the bowl. We might doctor it with a tricky trainer, demolish it in little pieces. And then we're going to invite him over to eat it. Now, once he goes over and sniffs the bowl, he's on the clock. He has 3 minutes. He's still eating. Usually I say dump it, but if he's still eating, I'm going to allow him to eat as long as he's eating. As soon as he walks away from the bowl, I'm going to pick it up and dump it and put the empty bowl back down. It's important to put the empty bowl back down. Now, the guardians you're feeding him, she should eat a chip or cracker or something that takes 5 or more bites first. Dogs eat in the order of their rank. So I don't think that he thinks that he should be eating in front of the humans. And if the guardians get used to eating first, they can sometimes make him feel like us. We wouldn't eat if somebody at the table hasn't been served yet. We would wait for them to, if we want to be polite. So some dogs just won't eat in front of us. So once if you put the food down and we're going to ask him to come eat a couple times. If he doesn't come and eat, we're going to wait 3 minutes. Then we're going to pick it up and dump it and put the bowl back down. If he doesn't want to eat in 3 minutes, that's on him. And because we've removed the presence of the other males, he should feel comfortable enough to eat it. Now, I'd like to use passive training to reward him for this. So every time he takes his first bite, we're going to come up with one command word. We're going to say grub, chow, feast, comida, food, whatever you want. You can say eat, but it's not very imaginative. Coming up with a fun word, feast, and he goes and eats. Fun, especially when we have a formerly abused dog like this, we want to bring some levity. So when you're training him these new tricks and commands, you can say bang, you're dead, or maybe you can say stick him up. Or instead of saying lay down, you say crash. Come up with some fun words. Bring some levity in the situation. It's already heavy enough with his situation to begin with. We need some joy and laughter and positivity. So after 3 minutes, we're going to pick it up and dump the food and put it down. I'd like him to be fed twice a day at least, and I think that's what he is. And we're certainly not going to allow the other dog to come over and eat his food. And when he's eating his food, it is very rude for another dog to be within 7 feet of his food. That's a way of challenging. So when we started off the session, the guardians mentioned they thought he might be getting food aggressive. But if I'm eating and I'm a dog and he comes near me, that's a challenge. If I'm in my bedroom changing and somebody comes to try to open the door, I'm naked, I'm going to growl in a different sort of human way. So it's appropriate for him to do that. It's also important for him to see that the humans are interceding and not allowing the other dog to come and take his food. Otherwise, he sees it's an opportunity for us to show him that we are looking out for him and demonstrate our leadership. Let me see. So building up his self-esteem and confidence is going to go a long ways. The walks are also going to go a long ways with him. Now, as I described in the other videos, I'm not going to go through it in detail, but I'd like the guardians to set a goal for trying to walk him 5 times a day minimum. Now, more is better. And it doesn't have to be a super marathon walk. He's not a dog that needs a lot of exercise. You're not a Dalmatian. But just walking to the corner and back multiple times. Now, if he wants to go further and you have the time, I would definitely I am a big proponent of what I call riding the wave. If your dog wants to do something it normally doesn't want to do and you want to train him to do it, you do it as long as he wants to do it. Again, for the walks, we're going to let him walk wherever he wants as long as it's safe to do so. And the female guardian is going to have to be a little bit of the carrot initially, but eventually we want to get to the point within a week, maybe 2 weeks maximum, where you can walk him by yourself and leash him and unleash him and take him for the walk, and you're not involved at all. Not that there's anything wrong with you walking him, but he doesn't have a problem with you. We want to create that positive association. And you're going to see in one of the videos where it's just me and him, his body language is so different. I mean, he was relaxed. He had a bounce in his step. He started achieving the bounce in his step when we were coming back, but as soon as we came to the house and you came out, he was a little bit reticent. So it's going to take a little bit of practice, but by putting a scent on the food, approaching him in a very structured way, doing the breadcrumb deal that I talked about, and all the other videos that are above this one, we're going to help him start to come out of his shell little by little. Again, try to start a journal, because that's going to really help recognize his progress. Especially if there's certain things he does, like getting him off that pillow. That took a lot of work. At 4 steps, we got 4 paws off the pillow. We got 2 steps offside the pillow. Now next day we got 6 steps offside the pillow. And again, eventually we want to go way over there to get the jackpot of treats. And as we're doing it, each treat, first time it might be 2 inches apart, then 4 inches, 6 inches, gradually going to keep on elongating. But at the end of the trails, that's where you should find a whole plethora of treats. Am I forgetting anything that you can think of? Anyone?
Just outdoors, peeing.
Yeah,
okay.
Peeing. Yeah.
Okay, for potty training. I went through a little potty training. So I don't think it was properly potty trained. So the way that I potty train is I want to, and really teaching dogs is through association. I learn through repetition, consistency, and good timing. If we go potty, he doesn't know what that means. And a lot of times when they get done pottying, we give them a treat and say, good dog. Well, we're not saying the command word. So when I take the dog outside, I have a high value treat with me, a meat-based treat. As soon as he starts to pee or poop, say business. Come up with a new word that is a one word that does not sound like other words you use commonly, and say it right after he starts to pee or poop, the same word, and don't say it in baby talk or overexcited, just business, one time. So stay within, when you're walking, and probably for you, Stay within about 5 feet of him, 10 feet max when he's out there walking. After he starts, we say business or whatever the word is you want to use. When he gets done, we're going to take one of his treats, we're going to pop it in his mouth. Yep. Didn't want to take it yet. Not on my lap. It's too much for him. I think just being on my lap is a big step for him. And then we're going to put the treat in his mouth. You should be able to do it. And right after the treat goes in his mouth, we want to say the word business again. So we're only going to say it. We're going to say it twice, and don't say it overexcitedly. Every time you give a treat, make sure you say the word right after the treat goes into his mouth. 3 seconds is your maximum, but 1/3 of a second is your goal. Now, the 3 times that a dog is going to be most apt to need to go out is right after, careful your finger, right after waking up, 5 minutes after eating, and 15 minutes after heavy playtime. He's probably not doing a lot of playtime. He is eating, so after eating, that'd be a good time to take him out. Now, because of the marking in the house, one of the things I recommend the guardian do is go get a puppy playpen. You can get these on Amazon. They're 8 panels, they're 24 inches wide, and they're bendable. So right now, he's been spent 5 years in that corner looking from that perspective, and half of that is his view is obstructed, and he has a very, very limited window of the world. I want to start increasing that window. The walks is going to be a great way to do that. But if we get the puppy playpen and a piece of linoleum that can fit over it, if he has an accident in there, it's not going on the carpet. And I'd like the guardians to start moving it around the house. Now, avoid putting it in a big open space initially. We want to put it next to a wall in a little cubby, but I'd like to spend about a week in each new location and then put it in a new location. Now, when you're doing that, he's probably not going to do it. I usually get one with the door. I usually like to put them through the door. Some people pick it up over. Sometimes that teaches the dog to jump over the fence. We don't want them to do that. But spend a week maybe in that corner by your china, and then maybe move it somewhere else. Underneath the table there would be a good place to put it as well because it's got an overhang. And if he's really stiff in there, we might want to find him a kennel or a box or something that he can kind of retreat into. Don't make it too deep so he can shut down, but something that affords him a little bit of cover will help. So if we really reward the heck out of him when he's outside urinating and doing the right thing, then when he's inside and we say the command word, eventually we could say business and he goes, bounces up and down, you know that yes, he has to go. If you say business, he's like, you know that's a no. It's just helpful to have that. So I think that, and then the puppy playroom is going to allow you, or play area is going to allow you to let him go to different parts of the house and explore and get a different vantage point. And, ooh, I can be here and nothing bad happened. Nobody's coming trying to pet me. And when you have male guests, no, and I like the fact that he's kind of lying down. Again, he's tired. This has been a lot for him to deal with today. Lydia, you should have been here for this one. And this, we're making him use his brain. It's very draining. Dogs don't use their brain very much. They are just very reactive. Well, by moving the playpen in different areas of the house, it's going to give him more confidence because of that added exposure to new experiences. And again, we make it really positive. Now, when we're doing the breadcrumbs and all the other things we're doing, if we're making some chicken fried steak in the kitchen, that's not a good time to practice. If we have a marching band practicing next door going down the street, that's not a good time to practice. We want to pick our spots and put him and make every advantage for him to help him come out of this. All right, Buddy, I always say buddy to all dogs. And in this case, it actually happened to work. Buddy? But no, I'm not going to give you eye contact. I gave you enough when you were over there and you were standing far away. All right, now if the guardians have questions or problems, normally I only need one session. Buddy may be a dog and we might need to do a follow-up session. We're going to wait and see. I'd like to spend at least a month trying this stuff, and we should see substantial improvements. But if you're not seeing improvements or things stop working the way that we described over in the videos or anything else, I want you to call me or text me. I can only help you if you let me know that you need help. For me, no news for my clients is good news. It means because people have no problem complaining. People don't pick up the phone and compliment very often. Although I wouldn't mind if you give me a Google review. If you have any questions or problems, please call me or text me. I want you to. I want to help you. And usually I can help with a quick phone call without needing another session. Buddy, I hope I see you again, but in a better capacity. And I'd be more than happy to come by and work with you again. All right, this is Buddy's Roadmap to Success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it.